In 2017, scientists spotted a celestial body drifting close to Earth that left them astounded and completely confused. This rock, which later became named Oumuamua, was not only moving unbelievably fast, but also looked and behaved like nothing that anyone had ever seen before. That led to a fierce debate in the astronomical community over what it actually was, with some even convinced that it was extraterrestrial in origin. However, after several years, some scientists finally think they have cracked the puzzle regarding Oumuamua. So what is this body? Why does it behave so weirdly? And what can it teach us about the cosmos? We provide the answers on Stranger Than Fiction. On October 19, 2017, the Pan-STARRS 1 telescope in Hawaii spotted a body that captured the imagination of all astronomers and soon became front-page news across the world.
NASA is now releasing the full set of images taken by the James Webb Space Telescope, the agency calling it the
object is simply a piece of another solar system.
The object was moving at an astonishing speed, whizzing around our solar system at over 300,000 kilometers per hour, which is around 5 times faster than the usual speed of asteroids. For context, at that speed, it would take just over a minute to travel from Beijing to Paris. The object was moving too fast to be bound to the sun, and even more strangely, astronomers noticed that the object appeared to be accelerating rather than slowing down, as asteroids in our solar system usually do. It thus immediately became very clear to observers that this object had come from outside our solar system. What they were looking at was the first ever confirmed interstellar visitor. Since the object was the first interstellar one we've spotted and was discovered from a telescope in Hawaii, it was named Oumuamua, which in Hawaiian translates to First Distant Messenger. What also became evident when tracking the object's trajectory is that it had flown quite close to Earth not too long before we had spotted it. It had come within 15 million miles of our blue planet, which is quite close by astronomical standards. So Oumuamua immediately piqued the interests of scientists and the general population, with everyone desperate to find out just what this object was, where it had come from, what it was doing in our cosmic neighborhood, and even more consequentially, why it was speeding up. Did it have its own power source? We did not have much time to find these answers, as the object was speeding away from us rapidly. We knew that in a matter of weeks, it would be out of view of our telescopes. So very soon, we turned all our powerful telescopes, including the Hubble Space Telescope, in the direction of Oumuamua to gather data, and the initial readings only further deepened the mystery. The object reflected a reddish color, which suggested that it could be made up of heavy metals such as iron. Even more bizarrely, the object varied in brightness by a factor of 10 every 7 hours, which showed that it was tumbling around on its axis. This finding led to a mind-blowing conclusion about the object's shape. From the way it was reflecting the light, it was deduced that Oumuamua had an axis ratio of around 10 to 1. In other words, it was 10 times longer than it was wide, almost shaped like a giant cigar. While the object was almost a kilometer long, it was only around 80 meters wide. This left everyone completely dumbfounded, as we have never discovered any cosmic object in that shape before. Most asteroids in our solar system are roughly spherical, meaning their length and breadth are approximately quite similar. This is why Oumuamua's wild shape led to a lot of speculation on what the object could be. The obvious question many were asking was, if this was an artificial object rather than a natural one. In other words, was it made by extraterrestrial creatures? This might sound like something conspiracy theorists might ask, but in actual fact, the leading scientists and astronomers refused to rule out that possibility. In fact, some were even enthusiastic supporters of this theory. After all, we have never come across any other natural object that looked like and behaved like Oumuamua. Some wondered if the object was an alien probe sent by an advanced civilization to explore the cosmos. If advanced civilizations do exist, it stands to reason that, just like us, they would want to investigate the secrets of the universe. Perhaps Oumuamua was one of many exploratory devices sent out by them to inspect far-off galaxies and solar systems like our own. Some even postulated that if it is a craft, it could be powered by light sails, which is a method of spacecraft propulsion using radiation pressure exerted by starlight. That could explain why the object gathered speed as it slingshot past the sun. If Oumuamua was an exploratory device sent by another civilization, that meant that it could have communication equipment on board, potentially even operating in the radio band. So astronomers listened to see if there were any radio signals emanating from Oumuamua, but there was nothing but silence. Does this prove that Oumuamua was not an artificial body? Well, not quite. Theoretical physicist Avi Loeb put forward another possibility, suggesting that the object could be a technological relic. He explained that if there are advanced civilizations in the far reaches of our galaxy and beyond, it is likely that they would have sent a vast array of probes, spacecrafts, and satellites into space through many centuries. Some of these may end up as relics, or, in other words, space junk, just floating aimlessly through space. This theory was further strengthened when astronomers discovered another accelerating cosmic object near Earth in 2020, which they named 2020 SO. This object too was very thin and behaved nothing like any of the natural objects we knew. And when its trajectory was extrapolated back in time, it was found that the object actually came from Earth. And when scientists looked at the history books to assess what that could be, sure enough, they found that 2020 SO was simply a rocket booster which was kicked into space back in 1966. So we know that 2020 SO was artificial, and we know that we made it. But Oumuamua could not be made by us because it was traveling much faster than any rocket humans have built, and its trajectory showed that it had come from outside the solar system. So is Oumuamua a space relic, or perhaps even a discarded rocket from another civilization? It's certainly possible. However, many mainstream scientists preferred a natural explanation for the object, which is why some proposed that it could be a fragment from a destroyed far-off planet. They postulate that a once mighty star in a far corner of the galaxy could have become a white dwarf after exhausting its fuel. White dwarfs can exert enormous gravitational pull, which is powerful enough to shred planets and moons into small fragments and fling them far away. They suggest Oumuamua could be one such fragment. If that is true, this body could be a messenger from a dead star, carrying information about a solar system that was destroyed millions of years ago. What makes this theory particularly fascinating is that in a few billion years, our own sun will become a white dwarf, and our planet could suffer a very similar fate, being ripped into tiny fragments, which float through the cosmos for millions of years. If this hypothesis is true, learning about Oumuamua may actually teach us more about the eventual fate of our own solar system. While this theory certainly sounds extraordinary, another explanation has been put forward for Oumuamua more recently, which many in the scientific community consider to be the most plausible one yet. In 2023, 6 years on from the discovery of Oumuamua, a new paper in the scientific magazine Nature suggested the object was actually a strange type of interstellar comet. The theory goes that while traveling through space, the comet was cooked by cosmic radiation, forming hydrogen in some pockets as a result. When it entered our solar system and went close to the sun, it warmed up and outgassed the hydrogen. The force of this outgassing hydrogen could explain the strange acceleration of Oumuamua as it shot around the sun. This theory is certainly not universally accepted among astronomers, and many continue to refute it, but it is the simplest one we have so far. Since the discovery of Oumuamua, we have also spotted other interstellar objects in our solar system, and this has now led to serious discussions about designing a robotic craft specifically to explore interstellar objects, so that we can study their geology, learn more about their past, and the cosmic neighborhood they come from. The reality about Oumuamua, though, is that we might never actually know the truth of what it is, as the object is already past the orbit of Neptune and currently passing through the Kuiper belt, putting it far beyond the reaches of our telescopes. However, the body has changed the way we think about interstellar objects and has kick-started a race to study them better, thus in turn setting us on the path to better understand the cosmos. Oumuamua's stay in our neighborhood might have been extremely short-lived, but the body has left an indelible mark on our scientific processes and on popular culture. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. And if you want to learn more about such unique places and phenomena, subscribe to the channel. We will continue bringing you stories and ideas that blow your mind, as the truth, as they say, is stranger than fiction.